Harry, hello. Did I give you all homework? Because you are Brahman, what homework you'll need to do? Okay, Nitya and then Advaya. Advaya, I think we can talk about a little bit because that's the school of philosophy that we follow, and not everyone does. So in Hinduism, of course, there's so much variety, which actually is true for all religions. Even Christianity has many, many different sects. And Islam too, although we know primarily just two of them, there are many. People will always have slightly different opinions. But more than that, people will be different, and different things will suit different people. And so Dvaita suits most people. Dvaita is the belief that God and I are separate. And the reason Dvaita suits most people is because it feels very much like a lie if I say I am divine. Especially since many of us are still at that stage in our journey where we're so aware of our flaws. Now, being aware of our flaws isn't as much a problem as the judgment of us having flaws. For example, tree. That tree might not be symmetrical, but we don't judge the tree as flawed. We just look at it as a tree. Then we might look at another tree and it's so beautifully symmetrical. And then we'll take a photograph and post. Why? Because in our heads, this one's more beautiful because it's more symmetrical. But when we looked at the tree that wasn't, maybe some fire and even part of it was burnt. Or maybe some human only cropped it because electrical wires. In Melbourne, that happens all the time. We'll just see it as a tree. Yeah. And what's there is there. And what's not there is not there. But we don't do that when we look at ourselves. When we look at ourselves, it's full of judgment. Yeah. We're not symmetrical, we're not balanced, we're not this, we're not that, we're not 300 things. Some of those 300 things aren't even important. Yeah. For example, some people will be very critical of physical features. My eyes are too big, they're too small, they're too slanty, they're too together, the nose is too flat. Do the eyes work? Yeah. Does the nose work? Yeah. So what are these judgments all about? Faltu. No need whatsoever. But that's not how the person will think. There'll be judgment, my eyes are too whatever. And then because of that, I am inferior, inadequate, unattractive, unlovable. So quickly we go so fast. You know, there's a line that the kids, some movie I think it happened in, and then the kids say it very quickly. That escalated quickly. I'm sure you've heard this line, right? Like, so somebody makes one comment and then it ends up like, whoa, like, how did you get there so fast, so quickly? Actually, in our thinking, it's like that all the time. We go from my eyes are too narrow to I'm not lovable. Like that, how? But it will be that train of thought, right? And it escalates so quickly to something so drastic and so untrue. It's not even true. There's plenty of people who already love you with the way your eyes are right now. So those are physical features. And some of us are a little bit old enough, mature enough to know, okay, let it be. I look the way I look. But it will be, I'm not as funny. I'm not as organized. I'm not as well-spoken. I'm not as whatever. We'll all have things we are, and we'll all have things we're not. And so then we see ourselves as very flawed. But when that tree was asymmetrical, we didn't think it was flawed. So now we see ourselves as very flawed. And then on top of the seeing ourselves as flawed, so many judgments about the implications of me being flawed. So how can I be divine? Because I'm so busy being flawed. For whatever reason, personality traits, mental capabilities, accomplishments in things we've done. And so Dvaita feels more comfortable. God is amazing. God is perfect. God is just full of love. God is so powerful. God is so immaculate. And I'm so flawed. So necessarily we need to be different. And so Dvaita is comfortable. At least I can think about something that is perfect because I'm not. But Dvaita limits me. Because it makes me comfortable. Do we ever grow when we're comfortable? Last 3 years, I didn't leave the ashram. So comfortable. And you don't want to leave. You won't want to do beyond the comfort. So then I'm so flawed, and now I'm comfortable. What have I become comfortable with? Being flawed. Yeah. And so Advaita is a harder ask. Why is it a harder ask? Because I'm not perfect, and be at peace with it. Please note that Advaita is not asking you to change. Just be at peace. Just like when you looked at the tree and the tree was a tree and it wasn't symmetrical and part of it was burnt and then it's a tree. It's still giving oxygen, still giving shade to some capacity. Birds are still building nest on it or eating whatever they need to eat from it. It's still doing what it's supposed to be doing. So here I am, flawed. And I can still be doing what I need to be doing. And what exactly is that? It's so incredibly simple that we don't like to acknowledge that that's all we need to be doing. Love. That's all we need to be doing. No, don't I need to save the world? Actually, I don't know if it can be saved. And is that really my job? What will Bhagwan do then? No, please try. Help him out. But the whole world? Shouldn't I be doing something? Yes, what is the something? Please tell me what is the something that you need to do. I don't know. There's a reason you don't know. When we need to do something, don't we know what it is? All of us, don't we know? Then we do it. Hmm. If there's something we don't know, of course, knowledge will help us. And then when we come to the knowledge, when we come to the scriptures, and then we ask the scriptures, what is it that I should be doing? The scriptures tell us, detach. No, tell me another answer. I don't like this answer. But there's something I should be doing. Yeah, detach. No, 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 no. Something else, please, please. Anything else? Build a multinational company. Create a holistic spa that helps people heal. Tell me these things to do. But scriptures aren't saying, huh? Scriptures are not saying any of that. When you came to scriptures to ask what it is that you should do because you feel like you should be doing something, scriptures is very clear. Surrender, detach, love. Very, very, very simple. Actually, our scriptures are very simple, not at all complicated. The logic of how you Brahman is a little bit complicated, but what you should do is not complicated. Surrender, detach, love. But we're still wanting to do something, not knowing what it is we want to do. And so, Dvaita. Why? Because I feel separate. I feel different. I feel incomplete. I feel flawed. Most of us are comfortable with Dvaita. The scriptures are very clear. Truth is Advaita. Why? Because there can't be two truths. They can't be. They just can't be. Truth has to be one. Right? Can't say it's dark and it's light. Can't. It's light. Then there can't be a second thing. Then that's the truth. There can't be two infinites because they cancel out each other and make each other finite. So truth is only one. Now, so many schools, even within Hinduism, are Dvaita. So how do they interpret Advaita? Some very conveniently just don't. And some will say what he means is he is separate, but you feel one with him. So all these schools teaching Dvaita are necessary because people feel a sense of difference to God and they serve an incredible purpose. But no matter where you start in your journey, which religion or where you start in your journey in Hinduism, you will end at Advaita. I'd met a really, really great saint, the head of one of these organizations that follow Dvaita. Had the privilege of speaking to him one-on-one, and I was like, you're teaching Dvaita, but since you've reached, is it really Dvaita? He wouldn't answer. Because I thought, maybe I've misunderstood something. Just wouldn't answer. And finally, before I was about to leave, he must have realized it wasn't an intellectual question. It wasn't rebellious. It really was a genuine wanting to know that even if you follow the path of Dvaita, will you land at Advaita? He looked at me and he said, it's all the same. Even if you follow the path of Dvaita, you land at Advaita. Then even my privilege that in my position, I watch so many other people walking on their spiritual journey. And then if their religion doesn't have Advaita, guess where they end up? Even if they're Christian, they end up at Chinmaya Mission or anywhere else. I mean, we're not the only ones teaching Advaita. Although Gurudev did do it exceptionally well. Because of his clarity of thought and his absolute conviction. And for those of you who hear Gurudev, he does not dilute it. I'll tell devotional stories. I'll be like, Bhagwan, help, please, I'm having such a bad day. Gurudev never. Even when he's doing Bhakti Shastra, Gurudev sticks to Advaita. And Gurudev interprets the Gita also. Oh, he won't compromise. He won't come down. He stays at Advaita. That's why the joy of listening to him is because he'll refuse. He'll refuse your ignorance. He'll refuse your laziness to understand. He'll refuse your confusion. He sticks to Advaita. Yeah. So ultimately, Advayam. It's one of Gurudev's names also. Akhanda. Akhanda is whole, unbroken. So nice, actually, if you think of ourselves as unbroken. Because so much of our spiritual journey is we thinking, I am flawed, and then I have to fix it. Right? Even nowadays, actually, bookshops have become rare. If you go into, firstly, they don't exist as much. You don't see as many bookshops. And in Hong Kong, anyways, English bookshops were rare. Now they're super rare. You might see a few more Chinese bookshops, but English bookshops were. And if you step into a bookshop today, well, at least in Hong Kong, I don't know about everywhere else, there is maximum kids' books. There'll be all this merchandising products. There'll be some amount of stationery and, greeting cards and all of that. And then the only other section where you'll see a lot is cooking, still cooking, and self-help. Whereas before, when you would see so many, like fiction, novels, or even textbooks on different areas and all of that, still now, there are, but more like these graphic novels, not proper novels. There are still, I think the move has been to Kindle and things like that. That's why we don't see it in the shops here. And like I said, Hong Kong has limited English speaking people, so maybe other countries are different. But maximum is all these gift item kind of books and self-help and kids. It's a really good thing I wrote kids books only, huh? Self-help. Why? Still popular. Why is it still popular? Because we feel flawed and we feel a need to fix ourselves. And then a lot of the teachings also are, you have to purify, right? You have too much desire, drop desire. You have too much jealousy, anger, pride, develop humility. Lots of books on anger management, or lots of books on how to deal with broken heart is what I saw last time I went, which was about a week or two ago. Sadness, dealing with emotions. A lot of these books about dealing with emotions. And of course, things like time management and how to succeed. All these self-help. Why? Because I'm broken. I need to be fixed. And even with other people, parents feel this need to fix their kids. They like this, they like that, they like that. We fix them. Spouses also, husbands, wives, feel this need to fix. No, they need to be more like this, more like that, more like that. Fix them. Do they want to be fixed? No. But we feel this need to fix them. Scriptures say, Akhanda, we not broken. This feeling of I am broken can run so deep within us. And so interesting when we fix ourselves. I'd come across this clip of, the Dirty Dancing movie, the lead role in it. She had plastic surgery. I don't know how I had seen this, huh? It's quite random. And so her daughter had never watched the movie because she looks different now to how she looked in the movie because she had plastic surgery after the movie. And it was very interesting when they showed her picture. I actually thought she looked better before. She significantly changed her features. Of course, it's just taste, right? And the movie, she's cute only. Like, okay, she's not drop dead stunning supermodel, but how many of us are? She's nice only. So, and she was doing, and that's probably why I was watching this movie, it was related to self-esteem and helping people to accept themselves. And she herself came to realize years after she had the plastic surgery, when her daughter finally saw her movie, and her daughter looked at her and asked her, but why? Why'd you change your face? Yeah. And there was this incredible sense of, why did it bother me so much? And interestingly, after she made a movie for the whole world to have already seen that face, then she decides to change her face. It's not like you can ever go back and not, like the movie's so well known. Like everyone's already seen that face, like you're changing it now. But imagine, and that's what she was talking about, that incredible sense of ugly. And I do a lot of work with teenagers, right? So I come across all this material. And then this particular, it wasn't on her. The talk was on self-esteem, and the spit was on her and how she realized that she fixed something that didn't actually need fixing. And it took her daughter to help her to see that. And then, of course, you can't undo it. And then the interviewer or whoever was the speaker in this thing went on to talk about another lady who had, and I think something like 23 plastic surgeries to change the way she looked. And she still wanted more. But no doctor will now operate on her because apparently there's a limit on how many times we can go under anesthesia before the next time you do it, pretty much game over. So now no doctor will touch her because she's already had that many, not surgeries because her health was bad, plastic surgeries to change. And so they showed the pictures of all the things she had done and how she looks now to how when she started. And of course, you can't recognize that they're the same person. But that wasn't the interesting point. The interesting point is she still wanted to change something. If I believe myself to be broken, no matter how much I do, I will continue to feel broken. If I believe myself to be inferior, it doesn't matter how much I accomplish, I will continue to feel inferior. This is true for people who feel superior also. If I feel superior, it doesn't matter how much I muck up, I continue to feel superior. It's true, huh? You please watch. Because you'll see these pompous, arrogant people and you're thinking, what are you so proud of? But they're so happily proud. And then you'll see these people who do so much, have so much, are so beautiful and still feel so inadequate. So it's not about what you do, what you say, how you look. It's about what you believe. Are you broken? Scriptures say no. Remember I said we feel we want to do something, do something. So we come and we study scriptures and the scriptures tell us what? You find, no. We refuse to believe it. We're not fine. How will we improve? But the thing is, of course you improve. Like when that tree was beautifully symmetrical, doesn't it still grow? Doesn't it still continue to produce leaves and fruits? Season after season? If we accept ourselves, how does that mean we won't grow? The tree grows. Rivers come and go. They don't always grow. They sometimes disappear. But they keep changing. Clouds. Like, really? Are they perfect? Like, what shape is that? But they're perfect. They're continuously changing. They don't stay the same. Interesting, our view of perfect. Because I'm not perfect, I'm broken. What's this perfect? What is it? And then when we judge the people we love, they might have one big mole on their face with 3 hairs sticking out of it. And we say, you're beautiful. Because they are, aren't they? How come we can be so sweet and nice to them? Aren't they flawed? Isn't that mole a flaw? Well, not if you're Marilyn Monroe. Actually, not if you're anyone. It's just there. Does it serve a purpose? Probably. And do we even need to know what it is? Not necessarily. So many things are there serving purposes that we don't know. So, Akhanda, unbroken. Nitya Advayam Akhanda Chidaka Rupaha. I had said all pervading, right? But in the book, it's translated as knowledge. Akhanda Chid. That's why unbroken knowledge, they broke it that way. Is there Sandhi there? So Chit can actually go with either. It's in Sanskrit. This is one of the beautiful things about Sanskrit. They join all the words, and then the way you break them can have different ways of interpreting them. So Chit can go with the Kanda, or Chit can go with Rupa. Rupa means form. But Rupa is affixed with, it's not quite Eka, but the way it's declined is Eka. I haven't looked at the Sandhi so closely in a while. So Chidakasha is of the form of Chit, which is knowledge. And this is just one, which I spoke about kind of in terms of truth being just one. Chid, Chid. We've spoken about Chid quite a few earlier verses. I think in around the hundreds, there were lots of verses about illuminous. Chid is knowledge, principle. So subtle. Like, what's knowledge, principle? Actually, teaching Shishya Vihar is amazing. I think I told y'all. You can watch the thinking of the baby on its face. Right? Like they get surprised. So even if you play peekaboo with them, it's adorable because you'll take a towel and you'll cover the toy and you lift the towel and they're so happy it's there. And then literally at a certain age, they'll start pulling the towel. And then you can see them thinking, it must be underneath. You can actually see them thinking. Of course, we can see it in adults as well, but not always as clearly or obviously. That thinking and figuring out, and that moment where it clicks is Chid. That whole process of coming to understand, coming to see, coming to know is Chid. Chid is not knowledge as in E equals mc squared, or oxygen is made up of, whatever, hydrogen and something, something. And then, or, whatever, the buoyancy principle or that's not knowledge. Knowledge is not facts. When knowledge is used here as the word chit, knowledge is, because chit also means sentiency, life. And when we think of knowledge as, rules, then it's very static. But chit is alive. So it's that understanding, it's that knowing, it's that discovering, it's that almost that wonder of like, when we, that joy of it all making sense, and that delight, it has the sense of, it's incredibly enjoyable to understand something. And then once you understand it, to watch it. Like again, when I'm teaching, not necessarily Shishya Vihar, but definitely more with children than with adults. Then if you point their thinking in one direction, then you just wait and they'll get there. And it's that joy of being able to see it unfold. Because what you're doing is you're watching Chid unfolding. Gurudev used to like that word, unfolding. Chid is alive. It's dynamic. It's sentient. And so it's knowing that is active, enlivened. It's not facts. It's not data. Like when you Google something and then pages and pages and pages, that's data. That's not Chit. Chit is this process within us of getting it. Okay, that's the first line of 100, 352. And then it's neither gross or subtle. It's the I. Hmm. Hmm. Actually, these verses aren't meant to be done academically. They're meant to take one thing and then just sit with it. Just take I'm not broken and sit with it. Only when you truly get it do you go on to the next one. And so when we do it like this, like a checklist, we're actually cheating. No, really, it's cheating because we didn't get it. We just want to tick, tick, tick. I know it. Mhm. It's like you're savoring. Like you can gobble up all the food and then you're full, but you're full already. Then you take that last piece of dessert and you just enjoy. And then you just play with it. That's verses like this are to be played with in our thinking throughout the day. Catching, I'm broken, I'm feeling broken. Do I want to believe it? I'm feeling like incapable, but I'm chit, and chit is knowledge, and so I'll figure it out. And then it's not a doing, it's an enjoying. So I'll figure it out. Let's see how it's going to unfold. It's not meant to be it's not meant to be an academic pursuit. And then once you do understand it, when you read these words, it's supposed to be like, ah, like when you meet an old friend and you hug them. But you will only feel that way if you actually sit with the words and you let them play. So the translation of the rest of it is there. You can stick with the exploring of the first line. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyan Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhave Toma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om